which means that before you actually duplicate this, you need to, as we said, create a new layer, for example, hold these two, merge them, and now you've removed the effect, that is the stroke. If you hold this and copy it, you will see that now your stroke is actually still there in the inside, because you've actually created a completely separate image without effects on it. Notice this and this. This is the difference. You have strikes around it, and this has nothing. And there you go. You've just created your own trees. Let's go ahead and create some here, 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 and there. Now you have many trees that you can do. What if I want to drop a shadow for it? How do you do that? I'll show you how to create a shadow right after actually we do something. I wanted to show you an something that you can do actually with this image. If you click this, hold it and move it, and put it on one of these trees, that's exactly why we keep one tree for backup, because we actually need it. Oops, we actually need it. Oh, you can see that we have a selection here. That's something that is causing an issue. It says your selection area is empty. So basically you need to deselect, which is Control D. Now you can select this and scale it down. This is actually something also we can do for this image. You can actually put it on the inside like that. Control and click on this and fill it with black. How do you fill with black? You just click Alt Delete. Now first, before you click Alt Delete, you need to make sure that this is black color. The Alt Delete will fill it up with the foreground color, and the Control Delete would fill it up with the background color. So now we're gonna go Alt Delete. There you go. You have black all over this. Now if you do this and scale it down and change the layer style, which actually affects how it interacts with the lower image. You can just change how it really deals with this. This is something I like. But there's another way also to deal with this. You can actually control and click on this. This is a selection. You control and click on the image. It actually selects up all of the layer itself. Since it's a PNG and it's open, you can actually do that. And go to this image. Let's hide that. Go to this image and click delete. And you can see how this interacts. It has a portion on the inside that is deleted. Now this is something I actually quite like. Of course you need to do it in a proper way, but this is quite a rough tutorial that teaches you the general idea of how to do these things. But I think it's quite a touch if you do that. Same thing with this. You can actually do whatever you want. Like you can go for this one, put it on top of this, and then create your own style. This did not take for some reason. Why are you not being taken? Oops, because it's locked. Locked images, sometimes they for some reason we actually downloaded this from the internet and it was locked. I think it says it's index. There's a way to unlock this, but we're not covering that in this tutorial. Let's just go for this and close that. Now after we did this, we're gonna cover up another topic. This is actually the shadow topic. Shadow is not really a hard thing to do, but let's start with something quite simple. The simplest way to create shadow is by double clicking on this, and you can see here something called, let's find it, drop shadow. There you go. Drop shadow is actually the easiest way to create shadow. You can go around, choose the target of the sun, direction of the sun. This is where the sun comes from. Change the distance, change the spread, or change the size. Then you can go and change the opacity. This is the easiest way to create shadows. Now if you go ahead and select this, for example, and then duplicate, you can notice that the shadows are actually interactive. Now this is one way of creating shadow. What if I don't want to see this shadow anymore? You can just go ahead and click drop shadow. There you go, it's gone. Now there's another way to create the shadow. How do you do that? You can go ahead and open up a tree like this. This tree is, of course, a facade. You can just go there and drop it here. It's quite big. Let's Control T and scale it down. Let's scale it to the direction that we want the sun to be coming from, and let's put it something like that, for example. Now this is something very rough, but it gives you quite a good result. Now let's double click on this. Again, we go to color overlay, click on it, pick black, and say OK. Then you can actually just lower the opacity, and here we go. You have shadow. You can scale it down a bit, make it a bit shorter. You can now duplicate this, put it here, duplicate this, and put it right there. Make it a bit bigger, or a bit smaller. Let's make it bigger, something like that. Again, you can change the opacity of this, make it a bit lighter, something like that. Now you can see some overlapping areas here. So how do we deal with that? Well, instead of doing this, as we said before, you can actually go into the image itself and just duplicate it. This gives you a better result, more realistic result, because shadow doesn't really overlap. It's the same intensity all over. And there you go, you have the same intensity all over the place. That's something rough. Now what if I want to blur this shadow? You can actually go to Filters, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and there you go, your shadow is being blurred out. Quite easy. Now, let's go for a different topic. Let's delete all of these. What if I want to mark up this area and make it something realistic as a rooftop? You can actually go ahead and select this, create a new layer, and pick the color that you want. You can now just go ahead with this and click whatever you want, like this, for example. You get to pick the color that you like. Click Alt and delete. This fills up the layer with the foreground color. Now let's lock the opacity for a bit. Let's go ahead and click L for lasso tool. Click here, click there. This is actually a bit rough. I'm not creating it real in an accurate manner. I just want to show up something right here. There you go. Now we have this. I'm gonna go for a bit of a brighter color. Let's go for this. And again, click Alt Delete. Now instantly you can see that we're getting a better result. You can actually now go back again, click that, go there. Please do excuse the noises, those are actually my cats doing some stuff around me. Now let's pick this and there. To make it go straight line, you just need to hold Shift. Now this area I want to make it darker. Instead of just filling it with another color, you can just go again and do the same as we've done before, image adjustment layers, or just the shortcut is Ctrl L, and then make it a bit darker. Now we can actually go ahead and pick this, and again Ctrl L, make it even more darker. There you go.